Call is from
Gatling.
This call will be recorded and subject to monitoring at any time. To accept this call, press 5. To block this call and all future calls, press 7. You may begin speaking now.
Okay. Well, what I would do is I try to educate your audience and others on how the system works and third-party cooperation. Third-party cooperation is the ugly secret that the DEA and that the federal government don't really want out in the ciphers or the media, because it's underhanded, it's nasty, and it only affects black and brown communities. Third-party cooperation is where myself, I can call and have one of my niggas or a bitch, you know what I mean, to go out and set a motherfucker up. Any event, I will receive a time cut. It's called third-party cooperation.
I also get lots of questions about Rule 35 on a third-party basis. What is third-party cooperation or proxy cooperation? Third-party cooperation is when, instead of the defendant in the federal case cooperating on his own behalf, the government would agree to allow some third party, usually somebody that the defendant knows or has some form of dealing with, to cooperate on his or her behalf. What happens here is that the third party, who would be the cooperator, is working usually with the Drug Enforcement Administration to set up a controlled buy or do a reverse sting or something like that would benefit the government. In exchange for that, the defendant on whose behalf the cooperator is doing the work would get a sentence reduction.
This is what Big Meech, Demetrius Flannery, known as Big Meech, and Tammy Cowins, known in the paperwork as CS1. CS1 stands for Confidential Source Number 1. Whenever there's a 1 behind the CS, that's the person who started the case.
Okay. So that
when you see CS1, that's what it stands for. Confidential Source Number 1.
So another thing, let's clarify for these people that you're not a Johnny come lately as far as your relationship with Big Meech.
No. Listen, man, we go back to we were really we were children for real, but we were young men. We were 22, 23 years of age. I'm 56 years old right now, and so is Big Meech, Demetrius Flannery. So our relationship go back over 30 years. You feel me? So I know we got a lot of niggas that's now jumping on their bandwagon and doing whatever they do. I'm a day one nigga. And I wanna clear up something. A question you posed to me last time was that people don't believe that I made Big Meech. I've never said I've made Big Meech. Let's make it clear. What I'm saying is that Big Meech has always been a money-getting nigga. But there's levels to this.
This call is from a federal prison.
The nigga never seen $1 million until he met me. He never seen $1 million until he met me. So no, I did not make him. And furthermore, I went off to prison. You know what I mean? This is my second go-round dealing with these devils.
Okay.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So this nigga had a long run. They were without me. So no, I didn't make no one. And I want to also make something else clear, that I'm not trying to convince no one to believe me. I have a duty and a code that I live by, that I'll die by. I don't break the code, my nigga. You feel me?
Yeah, and they vouching for you. Like, they vouching for you in the D, people in the A. Definitely people I talk to in the Lou, they vouching for you.
Hey, yo, listen, Slim. Niggas fuck with me, man, because I don't break the code, man. You know what I mean? I ain't got no sight. I ain't got no monetary gains with what I'm doing. It's my duty as a real nigga to set a fuck nigga out for some foul shit. You feel me?
It's the code. It's the code.
It's the code, my nigga, and I live by that, man. I don't violate the code, man. What the nigga did is foul. You feel me?
Now, another thing I guess I want to touch on is explain to these people how Tammy Cowins came into play. Or how
Tammy Cowins was originally an old girl. Well, I ain't gonna say a girlfriend. Somebody that Blue Da Vinci was smashing. So Blue had threw her to Meech to handle his little fan mail and just handle his little runarounds. She eventually came to have BMF, Demetrius Flannery's life rights. And so that's how she became CEO of BMF Entertainment.
Okay.
So I want your audience to go to Georgia Secretary of State. Look up BMF Entertainment and see see who's the CEO, a government informant. So the nigga 50 Cent, you doing business with a government informant. You knew it. I knew it. Big Meech knew it.
And that's also causing a rift between the family.
Between him and the rest of his family, because they what they saying to the nigga is, yo, this broad is hurting our brand. You feel me? And you ain't heard one word from the nigga about this situation.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Nothing. And his name is clearly on your paperwork.
His name is in the paperwork, man. This woman testified. This woman testified in a court of law that she became a DEA informant to give Demetrius Flannery a time cut. You feel me? It don't get any clearer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I know most niggas don't understand paperwork. So I mean, and that's crazy to me, because you niggas call yourself street and you out in the streets, but you don't understand what these white folks are doing. That's crazy to me.
And I'm gonna attribute a lot of that to maybe they never dealt with the system, but that's what we here for, to educate them, I guess, on that, because all you got to do is follow the dots with this one, because that's when we bring up you, we have to bring up a guy by the name of Suarez.
Fidel Suarez met Demetrius Flannery in the county jail. He's a cartel member out of Los Angeles. Super good dude. Fidel beat the feds in trial and went home. But he exchanged information with Big Meech and was trying to help him. Whatever he needed, you know what I mean, dude was down for that. Okay. So Big Meech and Tammy was initially trying to target Fidel. You feel me? So in the course of me and Tammy discussing Meech's movie rights and me seeking out a deal for a movie and me providing a script for a movie, the DEA got wind that I was in contact with Tammy, and they turned the investigation toward me. So that's why Fidel Suarez's name is in the paperwork.
Okay, and that make a lot of sense. And I guess kind of going back to that previous conversation, you were working on this script with MC Hammer's brother, trying to place what they showing now almost on Stars.
There you go. We was going to do a motion picture. We had a deal on the table from Lionsgate Films. MC Hammer's brother name is Louis Burrell. This is my guy. This is my nigga. It's a Bay nigga, but he been out in L.A. and Hollywood forever.
Yeah, I did my research on him.
Yeah, that's my nigga. Super good dude. Been around forever. So I mean, he can contest all of this.
Wow. Yeah, it's a lot of sources out there that could confirm it, but really, if you paying attention and if you open your eyes and reading the paperwork.
And another thing your audience need to know.
This call is from a federal prison.
When I do these interviews, people say, well, damn, Cuff, how you know Tammy didn't get in any trouble? Tammy Cowins has never been in any trouble. She has never been charged with anything. She's not from the streets. She's not about the streets. Demetrius Flannery put her up to this.
Yeah.
So this is what the government testified to in court, that she's cooperating with the DEA to set Cuff up to give Demetrius Flannery a time cut. It doesn't get any simpler than this, man. You feel me?
Yeah, and that's mind-blowing in itself, that somebody without a criminal record or, you know,
can be able to do this. Now, we know that you can work off your sentence and things of that sort that other red niggas do, but this is an individual who's never been in any type of trouble. She was a fucking secretary at some office or something in Atlanta. So she's not from the street. She's never been charged with anything.
Wow.
You feel me? So this shit was new to the judge that was overseeing this case. You know what I mean? So she said, wait a minute, let me make this make sense. You mean to tell me that you signed up to be a DEA informant to set a guy up to give a kingpin a time cut, and the government is okay with this?
Yeah.
This is what the magistrate judge said in open court.
And now, briefly explain how that go into play with everything that happens with her and Keith Krummer. How that comes into play with your case.
Keith Krummer was the agent that started the case, but he tried to hide his hand. So the way that he hid his hand was he passed the case along to St. Louis DEA, who always had a bone to pick with me.
Okay.
So the reason why he hid the case and sent it down to the 8th Circuit, which is the St. Louis region, is because he had to try to hide his relationship. So the way that the relationship was brought to light was the Justice Department seized Tammy Cowin's phone. See, this is another thing that I found out, all the procedures that go and how you pay an informant and such and so forth. When they seized her phone, so once an informant completes his case and your guy is indicted, they have to turn over their phones and any other equipment of communication. Once that happened, they saw what she thought that she erased pictures and the text messages of her and Special Agent Keith Krummer. Pictures of them two in the bed naked. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Conversations back and forth. The Justice Department stopped my case to investigate Tammy Cowins and Special Agent Krummer, who was indicted and fired.
Oh, so he lost his job over that.
What? Yeah, that's criminal. Because you falsifying court sworn records.
Yeah, and I seen that shit went up. That shit went up some levels of court. That shit was like, they was almost like, I don't want to say they was having Supreme Court hearings on that shit, but that shit went up past regular court level.
Yes, it's very serious. A DEA agent can have no contact.
Keith Krummer got fired over that, and how serious of a offense that was, and that pretty much re-triggered your case. That brought your case back to life.
Well, I ain't gonna say it brought my case back to life. This happened before my conviction. This happened during my prosecution. While I was in the county jail, this was going on.
So okay, a little bit, because I know if I'm confused by it, or if I was confused, because I'm fully in tune now, but at one time I was confused. Explain your situation and your conviction, because most people would see it like, well, he pleaded guilty, so how is
well, we have to point to 97% of individuals in the feds are based on pleas.
Okay.
It basically boils down to if you're going to trial, you're not going to be viewed by your peers, and that's one of the biggest discrepancies from going to trial in the state courts. You feel me? So it is no way for you to have a 97% conviction rate unless the deck is stacked. So of course I did, and the other couple 100,000 people that's sitting in the feds with me right now also.
Yeah, and excuse me, it was some circumstances around that surrounding your co-defendant and statements that almost forced your hand with that, because
they did force my hand. When the government saw that their case was in trouble, they indicted me on 2 homicides.
So I'm gonna try to explain. I got a good friend that just came home from he was sentenced to 22 years and he got it cut to 11. But how he explained to me is how the feds work, and this is exactly what you're going to explain. So when they indict you, they know that you know that 98% of the people are convicted. Once you put in, like, you're going to fight the case and you don't immediately cop out, that's when they come back and supersede you with multiple indictments and multiple different counts.
If they have the evidence. They first have to have the evidence.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah, and now in your case, is that what happened with that situation? Did they kind of get you on one thing and come back when they noticed that you was going to fight it? They superseded you?
There you go. So when the case got in trouble, meaning that the agent and the government witness lost all credibility when a sexual relationship was revealed. It's illegal. It's immoral, and it kills all credibility. The justice system that we have is based on credibility. That's what it's supposed to be based upon. It's based on credibility. You feel me? Your veracity.
Okay.
Your credibility. And once that is gone, then you can't bring a prosecution. Because now you have committed what's called outrageous government misconduct, which is grounds for reversal or vacatur of the charge.
Wow. And that's the circumstances you're falling in under now. And I guess another thing we want to kind of briefly touch on is the ghost gun situation.
Yes. They use a theory called aiding and abetting. You feel me? And I tell the people all the time about the 2 tiers of justice we have in the federal system. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
enlighten.
But just basically, first of all, you going to trial, you won't be adjudicated or judged by juries or your peers. So if you were in Philadelphia, they not drawing the jury pool from the city of Philadelphia. They going in outskirts Pennsylvania. So you're gonna have 12, 60, and 70-year-old white folks holding your faith in their hand when they've already came in with bias and prejudice of you and the people in the inner cities.
Before the case even started.
Before the case starts. That's the only way you can have a 97% conviction rate in the feds.
Yeah.
It's the only way. It's built-in bias and prejudice.
Yeah. So right now, I know we talked about a case, the United States versus Laura. And I pretty much explained the scenarios around that case because it's very, very similar to yours.
It's identical.
Okay.
Laura was a case out of New York, out of the Second Circuit. It went all the way to the Supreme Court. He had drug charges, which were the statutes are called 841 and 846 for conspiracy and intent to distribute. Your audience might be lost on these terms, but
this call is from a federal prison.
Very familiar with these terms. Laura also was charged with a 924C and a 924J based on discharging a firearm and furtherance of a drug trafficking crime. That's the first charge. That's a 924C. I'm going to let you see the similarity so you'll see the double jeopardy that's coming along.
Okay.
The second charge is a 924J. And that is discharging a firearm during the drug trafficking incident that results in death. So they both are discharging a firearm during drug trafficking.
Yeah.
That's double jeopardy.
Yeah.
That's stacking the debt. And they do that to just add more time to your situation.
So when they supersede you, this is the vindictive part of going against the feds. They say, well, you have so much balls that you're not going to cop out to this plea. We're going to stack you with counts and charges.
Not only are you not going to cop out to this plea, a lot of these niggas, you understand, turn into government witnesses. You understand? So not only you're not going to cop out, you're not going to help us bring more black and brown people into our system. You feel me?
Yeah, because I'm sure that come to you when they come to you with the plea, and when you don't play that ball game, they make
then they get nasty. You feel me?
And to make the people understand, they have to spend money to take you to trial. So when they feel like you making them spend the money on prosecution, all of this.
Exactly. But that's contrary to the Constitution.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah, we know.
You have the right to seek trial.
Uh-huh.
This is written in the Constitution. So it's contrary to the Constitution.
Yeah, they try to make it to where once you fight the government, you're not going to fight them. You'll never fight them again based on what they'll do to you, or you'll never get out because the amount of how they got the deck stacked against you.
Exactly. I will point you to the First Amendment. You have a right to seek grievance against the government. You have that right.
Yeah.
You have that right.
So
this is the Constitution I'm talking about.
So let's explain where your situation is at. So is that case still being tried and heard, or has that case been settled yet? The Laura case out of New York.
The Laura is settled.
Okay.
And that's what we're going back in on. Laura was settled in June of 2023.
Okay.
And so now we're in the appealing court stating the fact that we should get relief just as Laura did, because once the Supreme Court ruling becomes law, it's the law of the land. It's the highest court in the land.
Yeah, and for a lot of people, they can you state how long you've been in so they know that?
I've been in since 2014. So it's 10 years.
Okay. Yeah, and I knew from me doing my research, but being that it's kind of fresh in people's mind, I want to make sure that they know that this didn't just happen. This is something a decade
old. This has been going on for a while. I haven't heard from Big Meech since he put me with Tammy Cowins.
And
this is a 30 plus year relationship. You feel me?
And
this is my nigga going back to when we were 21, 22 years of age. You feel me?
And that's crazy.
So what I learned, this is very telling. This is what I learned through this whole thing. Because I learned a lot about what goes into being a confidential informant. Once the confidential informant or informants have completed their mission, meaning that the investigation is wrapped up or you're about to be indicted, all of those parties are to assist any contact, cut off any contact you have with the target, being myself. So that kind of explains why I never heard back from Big Meech since.
After that happened.
Right.
And I remember you talking. So a lot of this kind of got sparked up by an initial interview you did with someone. And that interview happened to take place, I was told, years ago. Even though it found its way to the internet recently. A lot of this is going to seem recent because the BMF show came out just a few years ago.
Right.
This kind of information just rose to the internet. But the person I spoke to that had and released the interview said, well, I had it for 2 years. I just didn't release it.